What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy Lou Streets back with some more LSV. And in case you've been living under a rock or you're just too busy playing Tekken 8, which is a valid excuse, by the way, we got our first look today at Peacemaker. We know he's coming next week, but now we got a teaser trailer. In case you haven't seen it, let's check it out.
BFD, so you make shit cold.
Not cold, frozen.
Suck on that.
So not bad at all. Looks exactly like John Cena. Sounds exactly like John Cena because it is John Cena, right? But the real question is, can Peacemaker save Mortal Kombat 1? Because we can't deny it, the game has been dying. The numbers look a lot like Mortal Kombat 11 around year 4 on Twitch. I mean, granted, that's not indicative of everybody playing, but it would be fair to say the game is definitely not doing as successful as its predecessor, and we're only around 6 months in, so we got to talk about this. So yesterday, I tried to record Mortal Kombat 1 for the first time in a while. I've only played it one time since Tekken 8 has came out, and I've been enjoying Tekken a ton. But I think because of playing Tekken 8 and then trying to go back and play it yesterday, it finally hit me what the issue with Mortal Kombat 1 is. So lately, there's been this growing sentiment that Mortal Kombat 11 was better. And I know that some people like to engage in revisionist history, but at the same time, Mortal Kombat 11 was a really good game. And what the issue was is that the things that were annoying, it was only a few things, but they were like really big things, right? Well, in Mortal Kombat 1, it's the complete opposite. The gameplay is amazing. So you have this one thing that's really big and really important that's great, but you have all these other minor things that overshadow it and kind of take it over. I think it's safe to say at this point, Mortal Kombat 1 was more than likely supposed to be Injustice 3, right? But MK11 did really well, but then it didn't get the support that it needed because of the pandemic. And it feels as though there was some type of communication between WB and NRS to greenlight Mortal Kombat 1, pretty much riding the coattails of the momentum for the previous game because we kept playing it for 4 to 5 years, even though the support stopped pretty much with the pandemic, right? So you fast forward to now, we have a product that feels a lot like Injustice based on a few things that we can kind of see in the actual game. So if you look at the intros, we have the Clash style intros that are very similar to Injustice 2. So that's one giveaway, right? When you look at the Fatal Blows have a weird cinematic startup that Mortal Kombat 11 didn't really seem to have. Even the blood doesn't seem as gory, so it seems a lot more like Injustice because there's a cinematic intro into Fatal Blows that is very reminiscent of Injustice 2. And then also you add the cameo system. Well, Mortal Kombat always had standalone characters, right? So the cameo system leans to more of a sidekick type of style superhero thing like Batman and Robin, Iron Man and War Machine, Joker and Harley Quinn, just that type of trope that you see in comic books. That's what this feels like when Mortal Kombat is more about standalone warriors. And that's why it hit me last night when I was trying to record Mortal Kombat 1. Because it's not that I don't enjoy the gameplay. Obviously, I've been playing it since it came out. But in taking a small break from it and enjoying Tekken, and then hearing this growing sentiment that Mortal Kombat 11 was better from a lot of the players on Twitter and in different parts of the community, they're starting to say Mortal Kombat 11 was better. And there's a part of me that kind of feels that way. I haven't fully given into that, but to an extent, I see where they're coming from. And you know why? Because when you're good at something, do what you do. Don't try to jump in somebody else's lane. And that's pretty much what WB probably forced NRS to do. They jumped in somebody else's lane because they had an idea for Injustice 3, and that got forced on Mortal Kombat, and it's put a huge dent in the legacy of the MK series. The truth is, Mortal Kombat 11 is probably the best game of the MK series. Now, I know that some people will attack that. Some people will say Mortal Kombat 9, which I never got a chance to play because I stepped away from fighting games for a while. And then there was MKX, which I did play, but MK11 is just better to me. I know some people love more combos and things of that nature, and MKX has a lot of variety, and that's what they were hoping to get in MK1, with just a little more creativity. But from an overall neutral standpoint, presentation standpoint, content standpoint, and millions of things to do, plus the gameplay itself, Mortal Kombat 11 was very fun. If we just took out the things that we hated and had those things improved, that's what Mortal Kombat 12 should have been. There should have never been a Mortal Kombat 1. And I kind of feel sorry for Ed Boon because there's been a lot of people asking, do you think he's embarrassed in Mortal Kombat 1? I want to say 100%, but I don't think it's his fault because they had something really special with Mortal Kombat 11, and they should have increased upon that, just like Tekken did with Tekken 8 from Tekken 7. They don't change a whole bunch, add a few new characters, add a few new mechanics like they did with the heat system. Mortal Kombat 11 should have brought back Combo Breaker or some way to get rid of Breakaway and make the neutral a little more fair so you don't get punished for being on offense, but they should have kind of stuck to what they knew. Get rid of some bad variations, Slight Gas, Cabal, Jade, and some of her nonsense, but overall, they had it like if we could give it out of 100%, Mortal Kombat 11 probably had about 90% of what they needed and just 10% of changes, and Mortal Kombat 12 could have been a masterpiece. And because Mortal Kombat 11 was so good, that's why I'm starting to feel bad for Ed Boon. It's a lot of people on Twitter saying they got their money already, so they don't really care about the outcome. And I don't think that's true. You got to think about this. They've been making Mortal Kombat for over 30 years almost. The first one came out when I was a child. So in reality, they're used to having a certain level of success. I think that they want to make a great quality product with love, but WB kind of forced their hand. If you look at Tekken 8, it's made with love. Street Fighter 6 is made with love. Dragon Ball is a completely different game. Dragon Ball FighterZ, not Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball FighterZ is a completely different game from when it first came out. That game has been updated and improved with love. I think Ed Boon had the same idea in mind, but WB forced his hand. They were already working on Injustice 3, so they kind of had to go with what they had to not get behind the 8 ball. And this is the product that we have, and I feel bad for him because it puts a dent on his legacy, when in reality, you can tell by the presentation alone, this was never the intention. If you look at Mortal Kombat 11 from a presentation standpoint, it doesn't even favor Mortal Kombat 1 in any particular way, so that can't be intentional. And another reason that I say this is because if you look at Ed Boon's Twitter account, his first tweet in over a month was for the Peacemaker trailer that just came out a few hours ago, right? Before that, his previous tweet was on January the 16th with a super retweet. So all that time, he has to communicate it, and it's kind of like, what do we really want him to say? Like, what really can he say in this scenario? We know by the analytics and the numbers that the game isn't doing as well as Tekken 8. Like, it's no way to avoid that. That's just a fact. So if we know it, then you know that they know it. The question is, how do you salvage it? Because in reality, if you put out a game that's gone within a year and a half, 2 years, it's pretty much a failure, right? You know what I'm saying? And then you can't just rush back with another Mortal Kombat project because the faith is going to be gone from the audience to buy that. So it's like, how do you pivot at that point? So that's why I kind of feel bad for Ed, and I think there's been a lack of communication because it's like, what do you want them to say? I think the only real way that they could save the game is to overhaul it completely by changing it without having cameos. But that's obviously not going to happen because that just wouldn't make sense. That would go against all of their selling points pre-launch, right? So now you kind of stuck with this product and you got to try to make the best of it. And so it really just comes down to this next patch. What does this next patch have to offer? Peacemaker is going to be fun to some extent, but then what happens when the novelty wears off? I tried to check out the patch notes. They're not out there yet, which they wouldn't be because it's not the 28th. We know we're going to get crossplay. Maybe we get rooms, so that helps out content creators and streamers like me who want to play with their viewers and set up donations and things of that nature in regards to, you know, getting that access. But when the novelty of all that stuff wears off, where's the game left at in itself? We still got a lot of DLC coming, but it's like, is the gameplay enough? Well, like, what can they add? Are they going to add all the towers and side content for Mortal Kombat 11? Are they going to pull back on the microtransactions? That was by far their worst idea. Tekken 8 is charging $4 for legacy costumes. Mortal Kombat was charging $10 for fatalities, for seasonal fatalities. So, I mean, it's just been a really, really awful launch. And I'm not on the MK1 hate train. I'm not even not playing MK1 because I don't like it. I've just been really enjoying Tekken 8, but I still want to enjoy this game. I have a huge place in my heart for Mortal Kombat because I grew up on it, and adding to the fact outside of Mortal Kombat 9, which I didn't play, I played the rest of them, and adding to the fact Mortal Kombat 11 helped really jumpstart this channel and kind of get it to a mid-sized channel where I'm still trying to grow and continue my path. So I was hoping that Mortal Kombat 1 was going to bring that, and just to have them drop the ball in that way, it's kind of strange because it makes you realize as a content creator, you do need to have versatility with what you play and what you entertain with and have the value that you can deliver, because in reality, if you're just tied to one game and then that game drops a bomb like Mortal Kombat 1 has been, I mean, that can hurt your channel in itself if you didn't play anything else or understand how to communicate a different game. And I've been having a lot of fun with Tekken 8, so luckily that hasn't happened to me, but overall, that could be a real problem. I had high hopes for Mortal Kombat 12. I really had high hopes for Mortal Kombat 12. Then when it became Mortal Kombat 1, it was like, okay, what's this timeline switch about? Okay, I'll be open-minded to that. Okay, I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the characters. Okay, cameos. I'm a Dragon Ball FighterZ player, so I can try to enjoy that. But then we start to play the game, and as it starts to flesh out, it's like, oh shit, you can just play striker and take your turn back. That's not fun to play against. That's not fun to play with or to play against, you know what I'm saying? Omni-Man was really fun, but Quan Chi, I still haven't played Quan Chi to this day. He didn't seem to be that fun, right? So then you start to wonder if all these underlying problems are like really, really starting to grow, and it's so many of them, and the only thing that you're riding on is gameplay, well, how do you salvage the game? Because the gameplay is always gonna be the gameplay. The gameplay we get right now, that's gonna be the same gameplay in 4 years with a few new characters, few new DLC, etc., right? But it's not gonna last the way that Mortal Kombat 11 did unless there's a dramatic change. And I really don't know what that dramatic change could be except making it a one-on-one game. And we know that's not gonna happen, but the truth is, when you're good at something, stay in your lane. Improve what you are already doing. Always stay in your lane. That's a life lesson in general, right? That don't really just apply to Mortal Kombat, but that's just in general. When you start blocking your blessings trying to be something that you're not, that's when things don't come natural. Mortal Kombat 11, they had the formula. It felt original. It felt like theirs. Like, the main thing about Mortal Kombat 11 is it felt like Mortal Kombat 11. It didn't feel like nothing else out there. You had the fatalities, you had the gore, you had the extra content, you had the customization, you had the crushing blows. Even some of the things that I didn't like in the game that other people enjoyed, you still had those things. I hated Slight Gas Cabal. I hated Upgraded Jackie. I hated Jay's playstyle. But some people love that stuff, but overall, that was their identity in the game. Mortal Kombat 11 felt like Mortal Kombat 11. It didn't feel like nothing else. Mortal Kombat 1 kind of feels like a knockoff of something else. We have assist fighters that are good. We have Dragon Ball fighters. We have Tekken Tag. We have Project L coming. We have the Skull Girls and all those other type of games. Mortal Kombat 11 had their formula, and then for some reason they went to the left. And because I like to give Ed Boon them credit that they're not dumb like that, I gotta blame it on WB. I don't have any insider information, but I would have to assume that if you make something that's very successful, which Mortal Kombat 11 was, you will want to build upon that. What they're doing over there at Tekken, it's amazing because they're taking something that's good, making it better. Maybe a little more accessible to players that aren't as skilled, but overall, Tekken is still Tekken. It's hard to win, it's hard to get good, but if you want to, you can enjoy it. So the players who played it for a long time, they can love it because the skill gap is still there, and the new players can come in and understand their ways. It's not a situation where everybody's getting something completely different to the point that it's not recognizable, and now you start getting this complaining. And then if the numbers don't pan out, which they haven't for Mortal Kombat 1, yeah, they had early success with the launch sales, but that's because we all kind of got bamboozled based on the fact that we had an affinity towards Mortal Kombat 11. If the next Mortal Kombat game comes out, we're not gonna rush to buy that game. We're gonna kind of sit back and observe. I'm gonna buy it pre-launch because that's just who I am. If I wanna buy a game, I'm gonna buy it early. But a lot of people, they're not gonna be in a rush to buy Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 12 or whatever angle they try to take. And then add that to the fact that if this does well, I mean, if this does poorly, which it has been, Injustice 3 will more than likely be the next game. So we might not even see the next Mortal Kombat for, say, let's just guesstimate. Let's say that Mortal Kombat 1 is a complete flop. Let's say it's a complete flop and it dies by year 2, maybe year 3, year 2.5, somewhere in that ballpark, right? So that dies. They gotta come with Injustice 3 because Mortal Kombat just needs to take a chill pill, right? Let's say Injustice 3 does well and runs for 4 years. 4 years minimum, right? That means right where we at right now in 2024, we might not get the next Mortal Kombat to 2029, 2030, and the last version of it with this current game left a bad taste in our mouth compared to other games. It's not a bad game, but they just picked the worst time to not be themselves and do what they do, while Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 is doing exactly what they do. So that's a lesson learned. I don't know if Peacemaker can save the game. I don't know if this next patch can save the game. I don't know how it will because the gameplay will always be the gameplay. Nerfing and buffing characters doesn't change the overall product. Maybe you add some more content to make it last, but hey, I don't know. So let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that this next patch with crossplay and Peacemaker and whatever else it introduces, do you think that can save Mortal Kombat 1? I want to believe that it can because I do still love the franchise, but it's looking kind of shaky. And I'm gonna play Tekken. Till next time, it's your boy Lou Streets. I'm out. Peace.